Hey guys, what's going on? True Strength here, and today we're going to be discussing the Affliction Warlock changes to come in Legion. So far, I feel like that Blizzard has done a fairly good job addressing some of the problems with Affliction, especially with Soulburn Haunt. I absolutely hate that, but overall, I feel like they've done a real good job. They made some good changes, but we will discuss some of the things that I do believe that they went the wrong path with. Maybe they could have had some different ideas. For starters, I'm going to go over some of the spells that have been removed or changed to talents, so on and so forth. We'll jump straight into that. For starters, there are no more glyphs for any classes whatsoever. They have completely been removed. On to more specific Affliction Warlock changes. Soul Swap is no longer available to Affliction Warlocks, so there's no quick, easy way to spread our dots around. Our only buff that we had, which was Dark Intent, has been removed. Teleport has been somewhat removed. It's been moved to a talent, into a talent section, but I don't know what they were thinking there, removing our main mobility away from us. But as I said, it is a talent, so it will be somewhat available depending on what you choose in that talent tree. Haunt is no longer available to Affliction Warlocks. Blizzard has decided to move it to a talent. One thing to note with Haunt is it no longer gives a buff to your dots. They just pretty much made it a straight damaging ability, which I totally agree with them there. I feel like Soulburn Haunt, we were too concerned about it in Warlords of Draenor instead of putting our main focus into our dots, which is what Blizzard has decided they wanted to go with. But anyways, we're going to skip past all the boring stuff. What Blizzard has decided to do with Affliction Warlocks is they want you to put all of your focus into your dots. They want that to be your overall main focus in Legion, rather than worrying about things like Soulburn Haunt. They want everything other than your dots to feel completely secondary. And in Warlords, it just felt like that we put more effort into Soulburn Haunt than we did anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, we definitely want to get our dots out, but we put a lot of focus into that, and I feel like Blizzard has done a good job with this, putting a lot of emphasis into making sure that we're spreading our dots and putting all of our focus into it. Something to note is Unstable Affliction now costs Soul Shard to cast. Instead of being able to just run in, cast your Unstable Affliction, your Agony, and your Corruption, then save your soul shards for Soulburn Haunts, Soul Swap, so things like that, or being able to instantly put all 3 dots onto the target. They now made it to where soul shards are the only thing you can do with soul shards is use Unstable Affliction. I feel like that was kind of weird. I feel like they could have done a lot of things different with soul shards, but that was the decision they went with. I think it's kind of bland and really what I refer to as a waste of a resource with the soul shards. But nonetheless, that's what they want us to use our soul shards for, is for our Unstable Affliction. Now, the only way to gain soul shards is based on the amount of agonies you have on targets. I thought that was a really good idea. It really makes you want to spread your dots around to multiple targets, 2, 3, 4, 5 targets, whatever you can handle, or whatever the occasion calls for, making it put more emphasis on spreading on the dots. You know, the Blizzard has done a really good job so far of making it to where the main focus of Affliction Warlocks is their dots and not Soulburn Haunts and all the other craziness in your secondary spells. They're making everything else completely secondary from your dots. Now, as far as your dots, everything else is going to be secondary. Your main filler spell is going to be Drain Life. Blizzard felt that this spell went really good with Affliction. It added some survivability, and they also done a somewhat of a buff to it to make it go a little bit better with Affliction. So pretty much for each dot you have on the target, it increases the damage done of Drain Life by 50%. So if you have Unstable Affliction, Corruption, and Agony on the target at the same time, it's going to increase the damage of Drain Life by 150%. So I thought that was a really good idea. I enjoyed that. But As far as any big changes, guys, that's really it. There hasn't been anything what I would refer to as major, other than Blizzard removing Soulburn Haunt and stuff like that. I feel like Blizzard done a great job with putting a lot of more emphasis onto your dots, getting them on your target, spreading them around, all that good jazz. But for my final thoughts, I wish that Blizzard would have kept Soul Swap. I mean, they're putting our main focus onto getting out dots and spreading them, and Soul Swap was a really big deal as far as, like, you know, in battlegrounds or rated battlegrounds. Sometimes in arena, especially if against a melee heavy team that was training you to be able to get your dots from one spot to another quickly without having to cast and get interrupted. Soul Swap was amazing in those situations, and I feel like they should have kept that as a baseline ability for Affliction. I feel like it was mainly a core ability that should have stayed. So make sure you get to Blizzard and let them know about that. Another big thing is I feel like they went the wrong route with Soul Shards. They could have done so many cool things with it. Instead, they've just made it to where it's an unstable affliction ability only, to where you can get out your unstable afflictions. I feel like they could have done like a fourth dot, such as like Doom. Not saying specifically Doom, but an ability like Doom or anything. As far as putting out like a fourth dot as a resource, maybe making it cost like 2 soul shards or something, being able to put it on multiple targets, and then allowing your agony to build those back up so that you can reapply them, but, you know, making it at a slower pace. That way you always have your 3 original dots, then every now and then you get to apply a fourth dot to 1 or 2 targets to be able to do some extra damage, maybe a little bit of burst or something like that. But you know, it is what it is. Blizzard do that, but hopefully they maybe watch the video and decide to make some changes, make the Soul Shard resource a little bit more interesting. Right now, with the design they got right now, is kind of bland and boring. But anyways, guys, that's all that we really had to discuss. There hasn't been any what I would refer to as major changes with Affliction. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure to get to Blizzard and let them know what you think. That way they can fix maybe some of the smaller problems. But once again, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Peace.